Hello, my name is Zemalf and this is the Beginner's Guide to Dwarf Fortress, a tutorial series where I will build an example fortress showing step by step how to build your fortress and how to help your dwarves survive. In this part we'll look at the game's interface, see how the world looks like and familiarize ourselves with the game that way. And then in the next part we'll start building some stuff and let our dwarves loose. But now we are ready to embark. First, the game greets us with a nice message that we have arrived, and we should note that there is a trade caravan arriving just before the next winter. It is now the beginning of spring, so we have all the way up to the end of autumn to survive on our own and hopefully also have something to trade with the caravans when they come. But now let's hit the game screen. And here we are in the starting screen of our fortress. In case you haven't noticed, in the video description there is a link to a download where you can download this tutorial fortress at this stage when nothing has yet happened, and you can play along. You don't have to create the world and set the starting skills and items yourself. The Embark profile is available separately if you want to use that in your own fort. But now let's start looking what we are seeing here. By default, the game screen is split into these three parts: the overview map on the right, the keyboard commands and information on the middle, and then the kind of main view, or the view where we can see the dwarves and things happening on the left. This can be changed with tab. You can just have the orders on the right, you can just have the main view, or you can have the overview map on the right. I usually like to have the keyboard commands on the right, or I will just use the main view. But at least for now, so that you can also see the commands, I'll keep that on the right as well. The game is at the moment paused, and that's the way we want to have it. Until I press space to resume, nothing is happening. And when you embark and you arrive, make sure the game is paused. If you set the initial save and pause on save from the lazy new pack options or from the Dwarf Fortress configuration files, the game will be paused, but make sure it is. And use this time to look around, familiarize yourself with how the things look, and also making sure that is there any danger about, are there other animals in this area, and that's what we'll do first. In the command you can see unit list with the command U. When I press that, we can see the dwarves list. These are the dwarves I came with, and they have been assigned these profession names. Those can be customized and you can call them whatever you want. You can rename the dwarves, giving them any name you want as well. These professions are based on the starting skills I gave them. So we have two farmers, we have the mason, woodcutter, carpenter and a miner, and then my mechanic became the expedition leader because he has the appraiser skill and he has those judge of intent skills and so on. We can also see the pets we brought with us. In the Embark profile I got all those turkeys, I got the cats, I got a couple of dogs and one hunting dog. This dog actually might have been also a war dog, because I ended up not taking a hunter with me, but let's not worry about that. Also, when your dwarves arrive, they bring all the items with them in a wagon, and there are always two animals pulling that wagon, and these animals are random. This time I got horse and I got a water buffalo, and if I look at these creatures, I can see that the horse is a female, she is gigantic and quite fat, and the water buffalo cow is also a female. You might get, for example, two water buffalo cows here, one male, one female, and actually those water buffalo cows would, well, it would be a water buffalo bull, and they would start reproducing more water buffaloes. But we'll be getting more animals later on from the traders, for example. The most important thing here in the unit list now, when we are starting out, is the other's view. I'm actually extremely lucky because there are absolutely no creatures in this area right now. There might be some dangerous animals here, some hostile creatures. There might be some non-hostile creatures like well, some animals that won't attack my dwarves. But right now there isn't anything here. So this is the first thing you should always check when you embark. First, make sure that the game is paused, open the unit list and check all the other units nearby. You absolutely must do this before you unpause, because it might as well be that there's a hungry bear in the area who will eat your dwarves as soon as you unpause if you don't pay attention. With that said, now we can start to look around a bit. In the commands we can see that the look command is the K key, so lukka. And let's press that, and I can use the numpad keys to move that yellow X, and anything under that is shown there in the information screen. So we can see that there's a tree here, a maple, there's obsidian boulder. This is actually quite interesting. This tells me that there's volcanic activity in this area, and this is extremely good, but let's not go into that just yet. That got me a little excited already. And here we have some shrub. And here we have these downward triangles. These are downward slopes. And this kind of slice of a world we see here now is only one level of the world. On the very right you can see number 0. That is the level we are currently on. And if I press the greater than symbol, I will go one level down. You can see that when I'm here on this slope here, I will go down. It is actually one level below my dwarves, and in the same way, less than, I can come up to that level, and we can always see the level there on the right. So this world goes a whole lot below ground, and I can also look up. To get an overview of the area, I can use the mouse wheel to zoom out. It zooms the whole view out, but just to get an overview of the map, this is a good way. Here we can see the level 0, where my dwarves are there in the middle. We can barely see them. I can see that there are some lakes in this area. This area is relatively flat. There is no big cliffs or anything. If I go levels up, I can only see the treetops, and if I go second level up, I can see that there's pretty much nothing here apart from some flying vermins or something. Well, actually that is my ex. Haha, already confused myself. Right, okay, but now I'm back in the level where the dwarves are, and if I go below, I can see that there in the north we have a level below us with more lakes, and then there in the corner we have a level that goes a bit down. We can see the lakes from below, and then finally it goes all black, so that's all ground that we can dig into. And then I can zoom back to a level I want to play with. You can play with a little zoomed out view, or you can have a closer view on the dwarves. It's your call. When you look around with look command, looking at things here, you can also press shift and move faster. You can look at your dwarves, you can look at your dogs, what they are. You should do this if you haven't played the game, so you know what everything looks like. We have the turkeys I brought with me. I have my farmer here, and I have my woodcutter here. And of course this will look different if you happen to use a different graphics package. And if there would have been any animals in that unit list or creatures, I would have made sure and I know where they are and keep my dwarves away from them. word about these lakes. You can see the numbers 7 there. That means that that square is full of water. When I go a level down and look at this water, this liquid depth option has to be enabled so that you can see the numbers. Otherwise, it would just show water, and you would actually have to look at the screen to see how much water there is. Dwarves can safely walk over 2 or 3 depth water. Anything over that from 3 and above, the dwarves might need to swim. And swimming is a skill, and if the dwarves don't have it, they might and will drown if they get into a screen or square with this much water. But anyway, so we have water. That's good, because the dwarves use water to clean themselves, and in emergency they will drink it. Normally the dwarves prefer alcohol, and that's why we brought all that alcohol with us. As you are looking through the screen, if you get lost, you can at any moment press F1, and that will bring you back to your dwarves. That also goes if you zoom out. You will always center the screen on the wagon. This is the default location set for the hotkey F1. You can configure those hotkeys as you like with capital H. The F1 is the only default one, and you can set these anywhere in the fortress you want to move out quickly. But let's just remember that for now, that we can come back with F1. Okay, we looked at the look command. We can look around, and then there's the view command with V. With this V command, we can look at our dwarves and any creatures in more detail. For example, I can look at my woodcutter here, and I can check his inventory, and I can see that he has some trousers on him. Good, he has a cloak, but we can see that he doesn't yet have the axe to chop any wood. He will go pick that up only after I have assigned him to do something, like cut down trees, and then axe is the tool that is required for that job, so he will go pick that up and start chopping wood. Taken that we have the axe, I know I have it because I brought it with me. And then if there would be 2 dwarves looking for an axe for whatever job, either to chop down a tree or slice a goblin, if there's only one axe available, either one of those will have to do without, or the one slicing down the goblin will have to go with another weapon or fists. But anyway, here we can see the inventory. The view is used to look at the individual dwarves, and here we can also assign labors for dwarves. We will be mainly doing this using Dwarf Therapist, a separate utility, but I will show it here just this once. For example, we will go into labor, so this was preferences, B, and then labor. And I want this woodcutter also beat my plant gatherer, so with minus and plus in the numpad, I will go to farming and related and find plant gathering here. When I enable this, if I assign or designate a plant gathering job, this dwarf will do it. And similarly, I could enable any labor to any dwarf, even if they are unskilled. By default, they have the labors active that they have the skills for. So for example, this woodcutter, because he has the woodcutting skill, he already had woodcutting labor enabled. All the dwarves have by default labors active for hauling, which is carrying things around, and this is important. We will micromanage these a bit later, but for now it's good that everyone carries everything there is. From the interface, we have the announcements view. In here we can see any announcements, any things that are happening, and then we can look into those events more carefully later. This view we'll be using quite a bit in the future. Also, the status screen with Z is an important one. Here we can see how many dwarves we have. We can see our food stores, and in those food stores you can see the question marks. That is because the dwarves are not exactly sure how many items they have unless I have myself a record keeper. But more about that in the next part of this tutorial. And here we can see an overview of the dwarves, how many dwarves I have, and what professions they are on correctly. And then if I move here from this screen into the kitchen, I can see all the kinds of meat I have in storage at the moment, and I can change permissions here. So for example, if I don't want the dwarves to cook with reindeer meat, I can press C and disable that from the cooking. But the meats are fine. But if I go into this screen, I can see that seeds are currently disabled from cooking. That's a good thing. Plump helmets I brought with me to make and turn them into booze. So I don't want these to be used in cooking, so I will disable it. I'm pressing C and the cooking goes red for plump helmets. Also, for now, I don't want the dwarves to use any alcohol for cooking, so I will disable cooking for beer, rum, ale and wine. These can be used in cooking, and it's also called booze cooking, and it's quite effective way to produce a whole lot of valuable and nutritious meals, but more into that later. So that's that. I wanted to disable and make sure that the dwarves drink their alcohol and not use it in some strange things like cooking. So that's good. And then we can also see our stone settings here. Here we can set and disable certain stones to be used in uses that they are not mainly meant for. For example, these flux stones that are used to make steel are disabled by default for anything else than making steel bars or making big iron bars. Obsidian is not by default restricted, but I could restrict it if I want. The same thing for marble, which is also a flux stone, but by default it is not restricted like some other flux stones are. And the same thing for certain ores, because these ores are so valuable, we don't want the dwarves to create, say, a stone furniture from gold nuggets. They would if I don't have this restriction on. We can have the same restrictions here for other stone, but I want these to be used freely for now. I might look into this later, but for now these are okay by default. Just wanted to make sure you knew that those options are there. And then stocks. As I mentioned, there are now question marks here. The dwarves know approximately how many things there are if there are less than 10 items. But with a record keeper we can get different levels of accuracy of how many items we have, all the way up to exact amounts on all items. And from here we can see if we have the record keeper also exactly what we have. For these items that we don't have that many, I can see that I have a copper axe, copper crossbow and 2 picks. But for example, for armor, I only know that maybe I have 20 or so armor pieces. I have no idea what they are. With logs, we can see that 3 logs are in use. These are actually in the wagon. The wagon has been built from logs, and I can take that apart to get 3 pieces of wood, basically. This in some cases is very important if you are doing some special challenge embark. We'll be looking at the inventory screen or this stock screen a whole lot during the fortress building, especially when the numbers start to be more accurate when we have our record keeper. I think that is it for now. I wanted to make this video separate, where I take a look at these different things in case someone is totally new to a game, and then again if someone has played a bit and knows these things, can skip to the next video and not see this video. And I probably should have said that at the beginning, right? Okay, good job. Yes, thanks for watching this part of the tutorial series, and I will see you in the part 5 when we start designating things for our dwarves to do.